Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem. This theorem is very important in set in R. So at first we study its statement, then we are going to prove it. Every infinite bounded subset of R, here we have to remember that the set is infinite set, has at least one limit point in R. So it must have some limit point in R. This is the statement of Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem. So I would like to first define what is limit point and then going to prove it. Suppose that this is any subset S of real number. Suppose this be plus infinity and this be minus infinity. This is our real line and this is a set S set, and let us take alpha be any point of S. Suppose this be alpha plus epsilon and this be alpha minus epsilon. So the neighborhood of alpha is alpha minus epsilon comma alpha plus epsilon. This be the neighborhood of alpha. If we subtract alpha from this neighborhood, then this is called deleted neighborhood. If we take intersection of S with this deleted neighborhood and this be not equal to phi, then alpha is called a limit point of S. If alpha be a limit point, then we must get this result. Now we are going to prove the Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem. So again, the statement of the theorem is every infinite bounded subset of R has at least one limit point. So we start with infinite bounded subset of R. Let S be any infinite bounded subset of R. Take this diagram for reference. Suppose this be real line and this is the S set, our S set, and the member of these sets are infinite. So these are the infinite elements of S. This set is S. Now here we see that it is infinite and bounded subset of R. So as because these are infinite and bounded subset of R, so this must have supremum and infimum and both exist in R. This is due to by completeness axiom of R. So we can write this here. So here we write S is non-empty. Why non-empty? S is infinite set, so it must have infinitely many elements. So it is non-empty and bounded subset of R. This is our consideration. So sup S and INFS, infimum of S, both exist in R. This is due to completeness axiom of R, as I said. For reference, let us take this diagram. This is our real line and this is our S set as before, and it has infinitely many elements. These are the elements, infinitely many elements of S. Now, as I said, both supremum and infimum exist in R. This means this must be infimum and this must be supremum. Suppose this be small m and this be capital M. We here just consider supremum and infimum, so we have to write this. So as I said, supremum of S equal to capital M and infimum of S equal to small m. So let us draw another reference diagram. This be our plus infinity real line and this be our minus infinity, and as before, here we take this is our S set and it has infinite elements. This is infimum and this is supremum. Now let us draw another set like this. So if I take any member of this set, suppose X, and we call this new set as capital A. This means this set is capital A and this is our S set. So here we consider two sets. One is S, another is A set. So by consideration, the elements of A set, suppose this be X, is greater than infinitely many elements of S. Here we write down this. So let us construct a subset of R A such that equal to it contain such X belongs to R such that X is greater than infinitely many elements of S. We claim that A is non-empty because here we see that capital M, this must greater than infinitely many elements of S, as because this is the supremum of the set S. At least capital M belongs to the set A, so A set is non-empty. Now we also see that small m is the least upper bound of the set S, so we claim that A is bounded below by small m. So we have to write all this information. Thus we find that all these three information imply that the infimum must exist in R. Therefore, infimum of A exists in R. So let us take this infimum as alpha. We claim that alpha is a limit point of S and we have to prove this claim. If we prove this claim, then the theorem is done. So next we are going to prove this claim. Now let us choose epsilon greater than 0, however may be small, since alpha equal to infimum of A. So by definition of infimum, therefore there must exist an element y belongs to A such that y less than alpha plus epsilon. This is the by definition of infimum. In our diagram, we get some element y. Suppose here, this is our y. This y must less than alpha plus epsilon. Now here we see that y belongs to A. This means y must greater than infinitely many elements of S. and consequently alpha plus epsilon, this must greater than infinitely many elements of S. So we write all information here. To understand all this information, again we take another reference diagram. Since y belongs to A, this means y is greater than infinite member of S and y is less than alpha plus epsilon. This means this sides alpha plus epsilon is also greater than infinitely many elements of S. So here we write infinite member of S. Now again we observe that alpha is the infimum of the A set. This means alpha minus epsilon, this does not belongs to the A set. What does it mean? It means alpha minus epsilon can exist at most a finite number of elements. Means these sides of elements contain must be finite elements. Here we see that there are infinite elements and here we see that there are finite number of elements. So between this space there are infinite number of elements. Since alpha is infimum of A, so alpha minus epsilon, this does not belongs to A. So alpha minus epsilon can exceed at most a finite number of elements of S. This means the interval alpha minus epsilon to alpha plus epsilon, this interval must contain infinite number of elements of S. And here we see that alpha plus epsilon, this must be greater than infinite number of elements of S. So in this interval alpha minus epsilon to alpha plus epsilon, this interval must contain infinitely number of elements of S. Therefore, the interval alpha minus epsilon, comma alpha plus epsilon, as because this contain infinitely elements of S, so the intersection with S, this must not equal to phi. That is alpha minus epsilon, comma alpha plus epsilon minus alpha. We consider the deleted neighborhood. Its intersection with S, this must not equal to phi. So this means that alpha is a limit point of S. So the last line of this proof, since epsilon greater than 0 is arbitrarily chosen, so alpha is a limit point of S. This is the definition of limit point. This is our required for our claim. Our claim is done, so we find at least one limit point. Hence, our theorem is also done. Before I end this topic, I just want to ask you two questions, two very simple questions. You have to answer this question in comment section. My first question is, what is the converse statement of Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem? And my second question is the converse part is true